Welcome back, y'all. For part 2 of this series, I'll be showing you how to use Bootstrap components in conjunction with React hooks to create a to-do list. Let's get started. The next step of this application will be creating a navbar. Luckily, Bootstrap has snippets available that you can utilize for this. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down and show you the one that I'm going to use. Essentially, it's this navbar you see right here, but I've made a couple updates to it. So essentially what we're doing here is we're setting the title, we're setting buttons, navbar, and we're using this link functionality. This link gets imported from React Router DOM and allows buttons that you press to link you to other pages. Now we need to add the navbar component into our application. The easiest way to do that will be to simply bring it in as a React component into the page. Now you see we have a pop-up, very handy. Now that we have some basics completed, I'm going to go ahead and create another component. We're going to call this a list item component. .jsx. I'm going to use my snippet, and that will give us a nice functional React component. Now, if we move back into our homepage component, we're going to go ahead and make a basic to-do list. First, we need to create an array that we're going to use for this. So we can do that by using the useState hook. So now that we have demo array, we want to display all of these elements mapped out. Let's go ahead and go into the HTML element and do a quick function. Demo array, map item, we want to pass the index in. And inside of here, we're going to go ahead and display the list item component. So now we have our to-do, and we're mapping over each item. So you'll see 7, and we'll have our list item component. Made a couple changes. Now that we're back here, we can go ahead and start adding some styling though. So we're going to say div. We're going to make everything into a container, and we're going to place everything in this div. Now we have to do, we could turn all of this into a list item in the UL and then turn it into a list item, but because we're going to convert this away from a to-do list, we're just going to go ahead and keep it as is for now. So another item that we want to add, perhaps right under this, will be a input field. So we're going to add input, and inside of this input field, we're going to say placeholder add item. So now you see add item. Looking good so far, and we're going to put all of this in a form, which just kind of allows us to utilize a couple more items. Now that we're here, we can make class name equal to form group and have this equal to form control. And we're also going to want to go ahead and add a button under this. So go ahead and add a button, submit. So we have a button with button primary, and we put a little space under it. So now you type something and you have the button that hits submit. As of right now though, submit doesn't actually do anything. So the first thing we're going to want to do here is actually change these to class name so that error goes away. Let's go ahead and do that. And each value should have a key prop. So set key equal to index. And so now we cleaned up the console. Let's move into the form group. So we have this input. We want to go ahead and use an onChange handler. And inside of this onChange, we actually want to set, we want to create a new hook to keep track of this variable. And we're going to say input field set input. And we don't want this to be set to anything by default. And now once we go in here, we say set input target value And now when we go into our here, I'm going to say on submit, on submit, click. Then we're going to console log, and we want to go ahead and console log the input field. So because we made this a form, another cool feature is that we're actually able to view all of our state management right within the application itself. So we just have to find the appropriate location. Homepage, here we are. Okay, so now you can see that the state is changing right down here based on what we do. Just a cool little React Dev tool you can use. So now that we're able to submit new items, we want to actually set the input field to be empty as well after submitting the item. So that way it will empty itself every time. So now when you submit, it will empty, which is pretty cool. We're going to also want to be able to delete items, and I'm going to base the delete button on each one of these mapped components. So we're going to go ahead, we want the delete item, we want to grab the item back. Right now it's just a simple number, and then from there we want to filter out essentially, so we can say const new array equals demo array filter, and we want it where item, and we want item not equal to, actually now I'm just getting myself a little bit confused here. We want to name these better, so index is not equal to item. That's not much better, but it at least differentiates slightly. And we want to go ahead and use the set input new array. So now we need to know what to do with this delete button. Pretty much what we're going to do with it is pass it into this component. On delete click equals on delete click. That's the simplest way to do this. We go over to the list item component. We have that item selected right here. At the end of each one we can say button delete. And so we need to have an on click handler. And on click delete item. So now, actually use the wrong function here. We want to set demo array as the new array. So let's go ahead and reload this. Delete, 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 delete. So this will become a problem if you have multiple items with the same exact name. It'll delete all of them. So if you say 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then you say delete, it deletes all of them. But when we move into Firebase, every single document that you create will have a unique identifier, and that's what we will be targeting. Thanks for watching. Join me in the next video where I'll show you how to start using Firebase.